a.m., 640. Bill Handel here on a Monday. Big stories that we're covering. First of all, the Dodgers. Great news on the Dodgers. Yay, the boys in teal. It's just, what?
Not really teal at all.
Sure looks like teal to me.
Nope, it's blue.
Oh. All right. Hey, we are expecting some figures to come in on the budget. Certainly, we're looking for figures, corporate earnings and labor figures. And so it's Moolah Mondays with Guy Adami. So, Guy, let's just start with what are we looking at and the tax plan? Because I have read, and this is a story from CNBC, that the reason that we're doing as well as we're doing in the market is because of the anticipation of the tax plan. And then the other side, no, it has nothing to do with it. Would you comment, please?
Before we get started, it's blue. I agree with Jennifer Jones-Lee.
Okay.
Of course you do.
So that's number one.
That's
two,
his dog in the background. That's number two.
Dog in the background. That's two. Number three, look, I think a lot of the run-up in the stock market has been anticipation of us moving from monetary policy, i.e. our Federal Reserve and what they've done, to fiscal policy, which tax reform falls under. And I think,
would you define the difference between monetary and fiscal?
Absolutely. And I don't want to put people to sleep here. And
a quick one, because you know how to do this.
And monetary policy, basically our Federal Reserve pumps money into the system, hoping to stimulate the economy. Fiscal policy is our people in charge, the people that we voted into office, create spending plans to build our infrastructure, to reform our tax code, and what have you. The hope is we're able to make that baton handoff from our Federal Reserve to our senators and congressmen, so now we can build bridges, build roads, rebuild the infrastructure of the country, reform taxes so we are more competitive on a global landscape. That's what I mean from going to monetary to fiscal. Hopefully that was clear.
Yep, it helped. All right, so let's talk about how important or not important this anticipated tax plan is going to be, because frankly, from what the president says today and what's going to happen are two very different things.
Extraordinary. I believe, and to your point earlier, there are two schools of thought. I believe it's extraordinarily important because I think a lot of this market is built on the hopium of being able to push this through. So at this point, any form of reform is going to be positive for the market. If it dies, if it's dead before arrival, as they say, then I think the market's in for a bit of a rough patch. But I do think, this is a president, this is an administration that prides himself on winning. And quite frankly, politics aside, they haven't had all that many notable wins. So I think this is something that you can get bipartisan agreement on in some form, and I think they will couch it, regardless of numbers and outcome, as a positive thing for their administration and therefore a positive thing for the economy and therefore a positive thing for the market. And market, by the way, which the president continues to champion as a report card for his administration.
Right, which is the Dow going up. I mean, it's extraordinary when you think of how it's increased, how high it has gone since the president became president. I mean, we're talking, a quarter or at least 16% increase?
Somewhere, depending on what metric.
Yeah, I mean, that's
between 16 and 20%. It's a huge move.
Yeah, that's extraordinary. Now, obviously, the administration is taking the credit for this, and I can't wait for the correction to come, and it has to. Is this not the longest bull market or the second longest bull market in history?
It's pretty unbelievable. I mean, I think it's the second largest on one form, but quite frankly, I mean, let's face it, this is the largest unabated bull market that I think any of us have lived through. And if you think about it, since 1 month into President Obama's first term, when the S&P 500 was below 700, now the S&P 500 is either side of 2,500. I mean, that's a pretty remarkable, now 9 years or so. And again, unabated with the exception of one, maybe two brief sell-offs. So it's pretty remarkable. My concern, and I can hear it in your voice, is, this is, again, an administration that takes credit for the gains. Who are they going to blame if, and God forbid, when this thing goes the other way? Because, from my perch, my sense is they're not going to take credit for it on the way down. And that's when things could get a little bit dicey.